Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kira.
And we are
the Keepers of the Books,
your online librarians. And we are here with a weekly reads episode. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. When you subscribe, hit that bell notification so that you get notifications about the episodes. The Nocturnals, The Hidden Kingdom. This is from Tracy Hecht and Sarah Fieber. And this is a review copy from the authors. So you have just these cute little characters. They have just a small picture here and there throughout the book. So this is one of those talking animal stories. And in this one, it's the dry season in the valley. The creatures, Dawn, Bismarck, and Tobin, are very thirsty. So they begin to travel to the watering hole. But there are some very strange things happening that shouldn't be happening with inanimate objects, basically. Ground swirling or moving, and bushes or tumbleweeds that aren't behaving quite properly, and other things that just don't quite match their normal observations. So is the forest got pieces of it coming alive? Is there magic happening? What's really going on? So you've got these nocturnal creatures, the variety of them that are friends, and you follow them on their journey to figure out, well, one, can they survive? Can they find water? And two, what's going on in the forest? And this is middle grades, ages 7 through about 12, or grades 4 through about 6. You could go down to 3rd grade if you've got a good reader. This was just a fun, cute book for people who like stories about animals.
Walt Disney, Drawn Through Imagination by Bill Scollin. Bill Scollin's written a lot of books, and he's a pretty good author. And this book is no exception. So this is the biography of Walt Disney, and part of it includes his brother Roy Disney. And it answers such questions as how did he get into animation, what drove him to create Mickey Mouse, and why did he not end up not continuing with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. This covers everything from his childhood up till his death, and it covers all the different characters he came up with, how he kept the business going, and what inspired him to inspire others to be animators as well. For fans of Walt Disney, this is a must-have, and it would definitely qualify for some of those longer biographies that you have to read as you get older that are over 100 pages. I like how this book also includes some primary sources and photographs, which will help for any reports as well. I recommend this for anyone, probably I'd say grades 2 or 3 through about 7th grade, which is 7 to about 13. But you can go lower or higher depending on who would be interested in a biography about Walt Disney. This is a review copy from Disney Press. The Mighty Chewbacca and the Forest of Fear. This is by Tom Engelberger. So Chewie and Han Solo decided to take a job that was supposed to just be babysitting some Tuca cats. Chewie wasn't really looking forward to babysitting these funny-looking cats. So he's happy, well, semi-happy, when it turns out it's really a more dangerous mission. There is a rich princess who blackmails them / kidnaps Han Solo into making Chewie go onto this planet called Syntax 3. And you can guess what my favorite character is. There's a bounty hunter / librarian named Maeve who is accompanying Chewie. And they also have a spy droid with them that they don't realize is a spy droid. He's a K2SO from the bad guys. He's actually a rather funny droid because he's supposed to be kind of like a helper droid, and he's the least helpful droid I've ever seen in the Star Wars universe. And then you also have that kind of humor, and you have the humor of the author's inserts about what Chewie's really saying and how it kind of pertains to the plot. And of course, Maeve throws in some humorous parts in there too. Full of adventure and mystery and action for fans of Star Wars. And I would recommend this for, well, anyone who likes Star Wars, but probably grades 3 up to about 7 or 8, or ages 8 to about 13 or 14, depending on. This is a review copy from Disney and Lucasfilms Press.
Okay, Word of Mouth. This is by James Patterson and Chris Grabenstein, and this is a review copy from James Patterson, and I'm sure we can thank his publisher too, Little Brown Company. So this is about Isaiah. Isaiah is a little mouse, and he is blue. He lives in a lab with his family of mice, and they are all different colors. They're given tests, and they all have different strengths and abilities. They decide, as a family, that they are going to try to break out. And when they try to break out of the lab, it's an evil lab. The only one who actually succeeds at escape is Isaiah, our little blue mouse friend. And he finds that the real world outside of the lab can be dangerous. He runs into all sorts of sordid creatures. Some are helpful and some are not. Where is he going to live? What's he going to do? And how does he make friends with a human girl named Haley? These are all things that you're going to find out when you read Word of Mouse. This is a cute story. I think a more modern type mouse story than Stuart Little. The mice can talk, but we can't hear them because of the frequency that they talk on. But he is a super smart mouse, and he has some talents that other mice don't have, because they've been genetically altered. He's got to figure out what's family, who are friends, what's going on in the world. And don't forget, he still wants to go back and save his family from the evil lab.
So he's not like Pinky? He wants to stop someone like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain?
This is a great, cute story. Of course, Chris Grabenstein, James Patterson. How could you possibly go wrong?
It's bound to be funny.
It's cute. It's really cute. And so I'm going to say grades 3 through 7 on this one, or ages 9 or 10 through about 12, or even possibly some 13-year-olds will still like this story.
The Lightning Thief, the Illustrated Edition by Rick Riordan. This is the story of Percy Jackson as we all know it, but with very fun illustrations. I love illustrated editions, especially when you have such detailed, fun, vivid pictures of the three fates, of course, and the text as it was originally written on the side. I would recommend this for anyone who has liked Rick Riordan's books or who has yet to experience his wonderful books. So you could say this would work well for grades 5 through 9, but you could go higher or lower. I know people all the way through high school who read these because they love them so much.
Raffi on the Run by Jacqueline Resnick. Pictures are by Joe Sutphin. And this is a review copy from Roaring Brook Press. You have this little rat. His name is Raffi. He lives in the subway in New York City, and he really, really likes pizza. And his little brother really, really likes pizza. And I have a little sister too. And she likes dressing up and making accessories. So there are a lot of rules about living in New York City as a rat and in the subway. Raffi is a sucker for doing and making his brother happy, especially when it involves pizza. One day, Raffi is going to get, after specifically being grounded by his mother and told that he's not allowed to go get pizza. His brother's birthday's coming up, and they are going to go get this pizza. Now, the moldier and stinkier, the better. And there's this person who, a human who comes and steals things from the treasure chest and empties it every night, and I just can't understand. But there's other mean rats around and everything else. So they go after this pizza, and the brother gets taken by a human child who says something about story time, but he forgets his backpack, and Raffi goes in the backpack and finds the address. He has to save his brother. So he's got this address, and he's going to go up above on the surface. And he's got to figure out how to get to West Central Park Street or something like that. Along the way, he meets some mean pigeons and some other mean creatures, and he makes a friend with this pigeon who he thinks is mean, but isn't. This pigeon has a half-wing kind of... You have this adventure in New York City with a rat and a pigeon and every danger, and of course, lots and lots of pizza.
Moldy, disgusting pizza.
This book helps Raffi to figure out who he really is and what a hero is and find his inner strength. But most of all, it's a fun adventure. If you liked Word of Mouse, you'll probably like Raffi on the Run. Fun story. This is for ages 8 through 12 or grades about 2 through 6 or 7. Chasing Helicity by Ginger Z. So Ginger Z is the chief weather meteorologist, not a weather girl, a meteorologist. Big difference for ABC. And she wrote this one. I have one more adult book from her later. Helicity is age 13, almost 14, and she loves the weather and just the science behind it. She wants to get into the honors program, and when her science and math scores come in, she doesn't quite make the cut. So in order to join the honors classes, she has to get her parents to say yes. And she has to figure out how to convince her parents that this is something she needs. She wants to think things through how she's going to convince her parents to do this for her. So she decides to take a ride on her horse. She rides to the spot where they always go, like the top of the hill overlooking the town, and she sees this huge tornado, and it's headed right towards her hometown. She gets some pics and some video of the tornado, but then as she gets an incoming text from her brother, her phone dies. She's in trouble, big time, and her town's in even more trouble than she is. She's not just in trouble with her parents because she's been warned to keep her phone charged. She's in physical danger, and her horse takes off. This book has a lot. It's a skinny book, but there's a lot of plot and there's a lot of character growth and development in this book. You've got natural disasters, family relationships, broken dreams, and how things have lifelong consequences. It does allude to some abusive pain medicines, not on her part necessarily. I think it's a setup for a sequel. It could go either way. There's a tiny bit of minimal language. This is a review copy from Disney Hyperion, and ages 8 through 12 or grades 3 through about 8. And this is definitely a fantastic book. Ginger has done a great job with this one. Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. It was a review copy from NetGalley. This book, I'm going to say grades 7 and up or ages 12 and up. It does contain some mild language and innuendo and alcohol use. So this one is Harlequin Teen, and you have alternating viewpoints. You have Yumeko, who is a fox girl. She was raised by monks, and when their monastery is attacked, she escapes and she's sent away with this secret. She's hiding a scroll and she has to get it to another temple or monastery. This book, you have the other person who is Tatsumi, and he is a cage samurai warrior, and he is sent after a scroll. So they are on opposite sides. They are both keeping secrets from each other, and the opening of this book is amazing. The descriptions are absolutely fantastic. So Yumeko is hiding her true identity as a fox girl, a kitsune. So she's hiding her powers. She really is that she's raised by these monks. So this temple is attacked by demons, and they're after the scroll. But Tatsumi's after the scroll too. I'm not going to tell you, but they are on different sides. So she's entrusted with an ancient, powerful scroll. She goes off on this adventure, and she's scared. She's alone pretty much for the first time ever, and she must learn her true power. And Tatsumi, this type of samurai warrior, has this sword. This blade contains a demon. It is not a blade that can be wielded by just anyone, and his mission is to find the scroll that Yumeko is hiding. So fate, of course, brings these two together, and they must help each other to survive their epic adventure. The thing is, their secrets, they both know that they have probably keeping secrets from each other, and they know that they have their own secrets. But will this lead to mistrust and death for both of them, or will they find a way to help each other and bond and trust each other while both learning their powers? And the thing is, will they ever just find out that they're really enemies? So you've got quite a complex plot and a story set up, and Julie Kagawa is a great author. I love this book. You have obviously an Asian feel to it. Really great book. It was fantastic. Pick up that one and be sure to read it, especially if you like books with that Asian type feel, or if you like Julie Kagawa's work. So I really loved Eon and Iona, and I think this one goes well for people who had liked that one as well. Eon and Iona is by Alison Goldman.
The Similars by Rebecca Hanover. 6 genetically altered teens, 1 normal teen. It's in a world where these 6 teens DNA was taken from their original, and it was used to make 6 genetically cloned teens with a few variations. And they've been in isolation on this island forever, and now they have come to this exclusive boarding school called Darkwood Academy, where their 6 originals actually go to school. Enter Emma, who over the summer lost her boyfriend Oliver to mysterious circumstances, and she is attending Darkwood Academy until her dead boyfriend shows up at school. And his name is Levi, and he is also one of the 6 genetically altered teens. And they draw her into their clique, and she really gets along with them despite what she would rather not. She soon discovers that they have an ulterior motive to going to this school, or I should say their creator does. And things are a lot more deadly than they might seem. Not just their creator, but some other adults at this school have some ulterior motives as well. I loved this book. I could not put it down. In fact, I read it slower than I usually read a book because I was enjoying it so much. And it was very action-packed, full of mystery and adventure and intrigue and a little bit of romance. And if you really like science fiction, you're going to want to pick this one up for sure. I would say grades 8 and up or ages 13 and up, just because there is some a little bit more mature content that might be better suited to 13 and up. This is a review copy from Sourcebooks.
Spillzone: The Broken Vow. So this is Scott Westerfeld with Alex Poublon. If you haven't read book 1, this will have some spoilers, so make sure you read
Fast
book
forward
one.
to the next book if you haven't read this
And
one.
if you want to. So Addison just made what she swore was her last trip to the spill zone. She got this big bunch of money. Her reward for getting this contraband item out of there was $1 million. So she is going to take her sister and evacuate. And she just wants to get out of town and without the creepy doll. Creepy possessed doll. But what Addison doesn't realize is that she sold this contraband item through the broker to North Korea. And there's a stranger named Joe. He's trying to recruit her because there's new activity in the spill zone. What she wants to know is, why can't a girl just move on with her life? You know? So there's a little bit of language, a little bit of violence in this book, but that's about it. Grades 7 and up were ages 12 through about 18, or even older, because, you know, it's a fantastic graphic novel. And again, you have the pictures that are done in the real world are really vivid. And then in the spill zone, you have kind of these muted pastels again. So in the spill zone, you get kind of like a different color scheme. You can tell the pictures definitely apart by the two schemes that they're told in. So I absolutely am loving this graphic novel series, and I can't wait for book 3. And I cannot keep these checked in. My students love them. Absolutely think they're fantastic. So you will too. This is a review copy from First Second Press.
This is not just the Jungle Book, but it has... So the Jungle Book, if you're not aware, has several stories within the same book. And this is definitely not your Disney Channel version or Disney version. It's a little bit more gruesome. So
More like the real book.
it's the real book, so it's definitely a lot more gruesome. Which I have read the original, so it just made it a lot more vivid. Because this is a graphic novel, and this is a review copy from Manga Classics. With that said, I actually did really like this book. So you have, of course, Mowgli as he comes to the jungle as a cub. You find out why Shere Khan decided he didn't like Mowgli from the start, as well as some other fun stories that take place in this jungle. So the illustrations in this are very detailed and have a lot of good shading with dark and light to bring the book to life, and I would definitely recommend it. But I would say grades 9 and up or ages 15 and up.
This series, the books done by Manga Classics, my students are loving them. They're checking out a ton, and they're reading and getting to know the classics of their own free will for fun.
Which is awesome, which is what I would have wanted for this series to have happen. And ours, we can't keep them in. They fly off the shelves as well.
So keep it up, guys. Manga Classics is doing a great job. Natural disaster, I cover them. I Am One by Ginger Z. She is ABC News' chief meteorologist. On the surface, what you have seen of Ginger is this very successful woman who has her life together. She's got it going, she's happy, she's successful, but there is more to Ginger's life than meets the eye on TV. She has had a very difficult time. She's dealt with depression, she's dealt with abuse, she's dealt with a lot. This is her story, and this is an adult book, but you could put this in a high school. It does have I would say, a little language, a little bit of definitely relationship violence built into it. She does handle it in a very tactful way. She does deal with various aspects of a relationship, including physical, but they are not very detailed. It's a really good biography, and it's interesting, especially if you like Ginger and her covering of things like Katrina and other major natural disasters and storm chasing and jumping off of cliffs and everything else crazy that she does. This is a review copy from Kingswell, and pick this one up.
The Spook in the Stacks by Eva Gates. This is a Bodie Lighthouse mystery. Lucy Richardson is a librarian at the Lighthouse Library, and they get some really fun news, well, potentially fun news, that this wealthy businessman wants to donate his collection of historical documents to either the library or another place. So they're in the renting, and they're really excited about it. And one night he shows up murdered at the library. And unfortunately, the wealthy businessman's daughter is the prime suspect for this murder, and this could really throw a wrench in their plans for this collection and really boosting the library circulation. So Lucy Richardson and her motley crew of librarians decide to put on their detective hats once again and solve the murder because they just like to meddle, not because the police are inept. They're actually quite good at their jobs. And if you like funny, silly mysteries, you're going to love this book, especially if you like librarians who are also detectives. I would recommend this for adults, but you could put it in a high school library. This is a review copy from Crooked Lane Books.
Clock Dance by Ann Tyler, and this was read by Kimberly Farr, and it's a review copy from Knock. Kimberly Farr has narrated a lot of audiobooks for both young adults and adults, and she does a great job with this one. She was in Star Trek The Next Generation as well. And this book follows Willa Drake. In 1967, when she's 11, her mom disappears or leaves, and her dad's not so good at taking care of the house. And so it follows 3 time periods. Then in 1977, she's in college, and her boyfriend wants to get engaged, and she goes and meets his family. That's the second time point. 4 time points. 1997, her husband dies in a car accident. She travels, and in 2017, she wants to be a grandma, and she travels to Baltimore to take care of her son's ex-girlfriend's child.
That's an interesting combination.
So you have these 4 major life events and how they shape her and change her as a person. I love the story and the way Ann Tyler tells it. It's a fast read, it's engaging, and it's a great audiobook. It would be really good for a book club because you got a lot to discuss and how the 4 time periods relate and all that. Honestly, the narrator's does the perfect job of narrating for each stage of life. So that takes some slight alterations to voice and stuff like that. It's definitely an adult book. And my last adult book is King of Spies, The Dark Reign and Ruin of an American Spy Master. This is by Blake Hardin. This is a best-selling author, and this is a review copy from Viking, and it's probably came out in paperback recently. So 1946, you have Donald Nichols. He's repairing Jeeps. He's not like anyone to keep an eye on in the military or being a rising star or anything like that. But he has this really, really twisted dark side, and he gets sent to Korea, and he's really good at making friends with people. So he makes friends in North Korea and South Korea. He becomes basically a spy. Here's the thing though, the government can't really control him, but he has such valuable connections that they're willing to leave him there. And he is this really dark, twisted side that does things and knows things that really could be considered acts of, against the Geneva Convention, certainly. So this tracks his rise in the military and his very quick fall, and even after he leaves the military and he's retired, his mental breakdown and all of that. So nonfiction, and this is really good for people who like military nonfiction and spy stories and all of that. So this was really interesting. I would definitely leave this book as adult though, not even necessarily high school. It does deal with abuse because after he kind of went crazy, they found after he joined the Mormon church that he was abusing some children. So anyways, that's why it's for adults. Okay, so those are all of our books for this week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. When you subscribe, hit the bell notification. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.